welcome to the Awakening Show. All right, so let me hang up on this side. Woo! Here she is. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Here, I don't even wait for people to come. Beautiful lady. I tell you, being bald is the best thing ever. Huh? But today,
Yes, it
I'm
feels
wearing
good.
my. You're so beautiful, Shirley.
Okay, take it off.
I,
Take it
huh?
off.
I do what?
I want to see your bald also.
Oh no, I need to go cut my hair. You know it has grown. I don't like hair. I will be visiting the barber shop soon to take out this. I like bald. When I walk with bald head, many people notice me and I like being noticed. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. So this is what we are going to do, Shirley. So we are going to have
Mhm.
introduction. We're going to say your name, your
Yeah.
location, type of cancer, and diagnosis and treatment, where you are at the point. And then we are going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about. Once we talk about that, I'm going to delve briefly to talk about. You're going to talk to us about some symptoms that maybe you could have seen, before you were diagnosed, and how did you begin noticing that? And then we are going to talk about what actions you took after that. And then we are going to talk about your perspective regarding the whole
Okay.
process. Okay.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
you are going to share what your lessons are to people who are watching. Because
Mm-hmm.
many times people think they will never get cancer. So I know you have some lessons to share. Okay. So we are going to keep it.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you so
Okay.
much for joining us. I don't know. I never say I'm sorry about this, but I am a Christian. I love God so much. And before I start something, I love praying. Okay. So allow me to say a word of prayer before we start. Father, thank you so much for this wonderful afternoon, wonderful evening or morning, depending on whichever part of the world someone is watching us from, Jehovah. We want to thank you so much for this time that we are going to speak with Shirley, and we're going to share a lot and hopefully have people learn something regarding cancer, Jehovah. We thank you because you're going to give us the knowledge and the wisdom to speak. And Father, Lord, forgive us our sins before we get to this. And I pray that you speak to someone through us this afternoon and this evening. We pray this, that God, you may impact Shirley, that she may be able to speak. And thank you so much for giving her the courage to talk about her life just in order for someone else to learn. We love you and we worship you. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So before Shirley starts
Amen.
talking, I know some of you know who I am. My name is Diana. Some people love calling me Dr. Award. I'm Dr. Award, but I'm not in a university right now. They tell us when you graduate, they tell you we've given you the powers to do things. So I still have the powers and I'm doing my stuff. So I am a breast cancer survivor. I had my double mastectomy. I don't have any breasts. I like coming on live here to educate and to empower. I do that through so many ways. I do that when I cook. And when I cook, I raise money to feed cancer patients in Kenya and starting also here in the US, where I focus on immigrants and refugees that don't have loved ones and they're fighting cancer. Okay, so today we are having a guest all the way from Kenya. Kenya is in East Africa. Okay, so Shirley, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much, Diana. For your viewers, I'm Shirley, from Kenya, from Narok, to be specifically, the Masailand part, I'm 27 years old, and I was recently diagnosed with the HER2 positive breast cancer. It affected my right boob. Yes, I know most of the people get affected on the left side, but mine is on the right side. Um, what else you had said was part of the introduction?
You've said everything. You've said everything. And in fact, I've learned
Yeah,
something.
that's pretty much
I've
everything.
never known. I've never known that breast cancer affects mostly the left breast, and I've
Yeah,
just
it
learned
does.
that. Wow,
hmm Most of
wow.
the people, most of the patients I was actually being treated with was on the right side. I was the only one amongst like 50 people that had it on the right side.
Mm. But do you know what?
Yeah.
In case you're
hmm
going to go for radiation, will you be going for radiation?
Yeah.
I would say you're lucky because they usually tell us if the people affected on the left, I was affected on the left. They tell you if you're going to
hmm
radiation, radiation sometimes causes, heart attacks, and so they normally hate it when the breast cancer is on the left side because they will try to shield the heart, but it may still be affected. So I would say you're lucky. In this world of
Yeah.
cancer, we still say sometimes someone is lucky or not lucky. Okay. Thank you so much. Now,
Yeah.
I know you've talked about HER2 positive cancers, and that's where I delve a bit, just to let people know that breast cancer, you hear breast cancer and you think breast cancer is the same for everybody. If someone is diagnosed, someone said, don't worry about it, don't do this. That other person had breast cancer, but she did not do this. I want to educate you guys and let you know breast cancers are different depending on what receptors someone's breast cancer has. The cancer can have receptors
Yeah.
of estrogen, which is a hormone. It can have receptors of progesterone, also a hormone. And it can have receptors of HER2 positive, which is a protein on the skin. So what Shirley is talking about is the tumor they found in her had receptors of HER2, the protein. Okay. Now, me speaking to you, the tumor they found in me had receptors of what they call estrogen. And also, they came back and discovered something that did not have any receptors, and that is called triple negative. It is not a type, but it is just a classification because all it means is they have not discovered some of the things breast cancer tumors have. So that is why that one is called triple negative. So I hope that one will educate someone today. So moving on, did you have any symptoms?
Yeah, now that I think about it, I had some symptoms around 2020. At first, I thought it was related to the COVID shot because immediately after receiving my COVID dose, I started experiencing difference in my body, especially my boob area, my weight, and all that. So I did not pay much attention to it. The first symptoms were pus. I was passing pus through my nipples. Yeah, I went to the doctors and they were a bit ignorant about it. They discharged it as nothing. So me as a patient, I was like, the doctors know it all. They've said it's nothing. So who am I to, you know? Yeah. And that kept on going on for a while.
Guys,
It
please,
it kept
please,
on
please.
coming and
Just a minute.
disappearing. Yeah. So the symptoms, the discharge came on. It was coming on and off in a period of like 2 years. That was from 2020 to around 2021, 2022 there. Yeah, somewhere in between there. So that was the very first symptom I can say I discovered. And then later, around 2022, in September, November, yeah, September, November, I started noticing a difference in my boobs. They were weird. I can say weird. I cannot explain then because I did not pay attention then, so I can't really say what it was. And then in November, December, I noticed a lump, something that was just growing slowly by slowly. It was really very growing fast because at first I could not even feel it. And then one day I just felt this thing that I wasn't aware what it was. And yeah, in 2023, January, I decided to get it checked. And that's when I discovered it was cancer.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was a cancerous tumor.
So if
Yeah,
you talk
so that
about,
those were the only.
yeah,
Sorry,
you talked about 2020. Which time within 2020? Early 2020, mid or late 2020?
late,
Late
late.
2020.
Yes, around. Okay, I cannot really remember, but it was just late 2020.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. And our viewers, I hope you've had those symptoms. The something pussy coming from the nipples, and of course a lump. A lump is what many people would want to feel. And then you talked about your weight. Were you reducing weight or increasing weight?
I was gaining weight, but I think that is related to the fact that we stayed home for a very long time. I cannot really put them together. That
Okay.
one, I will not pass it as a symptom.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you say that 2020, 2021 passed, 2022 passed.
Yeah.
And then you went in 2023 January.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And our viewers, as you're watching, what I believe you're learning something here. You need to be persistent. You need to advocate for yourself because
Mm-hmm.
once the doctor say this is nothing, the doctor sent him. They will not call him and call her and tell her, "Hey, come over. Let's recheck that thing." You know, she had to take
Yeah.
herself back. So you have to learn how to advocate for yourself because no doctor or nurse will advocate for you. No doctor or nurse will advocate for you. And I'm one person I like when I interview, I get in a bit. I also discovered a lump in me the same year, 2020. It was a very tough year, COVID, and all these things. And my doctor also dismissed me. They told me that that was, what do you call it? A milk duct, because I had a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept changing doctors in and out, changing the same thing. So anyway, let's
And
let's move
funny
on.
enough,
What
Diana,
actually can you hear me?
I'm saying, funny enough, my
Yeah.
doctors also told me the same because I had stopped breastfeeding around 2019,
Mm-hmm.
early 2019. So actually, what my doctor said, the one that I saw the first time, it is your milk duct clearing because you had recently breastfed. So I thought maybe that can be true.
Yeah.
And a lot of ladies in my comment section, when I shared about my story, they say they
Yeah.
were told the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Women, pregnant women, breastfeeding women, nursing women, women who finished nursing in the recent past. Those are women that need to really pay close attention to their breasts, their breast area. And those are women who need to not listen to one voice. They need to,
Yeah.
if you're given one opinion, go for second and third, if possible.
Yeah.
And one thing I would
Hmm.
say is trust your guts, trust that inner
Sure.
voice, because I know your inner voice was telling you something is wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the doctor's voice was saying something different, and it turned out
Yes.
to be something different.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
something about our world is politicians have really um, protected doctors so much that it's very, very hard to even sue for that.
Yeah.
I tried suing here in Texas, but the Texas governor
Hmm.
has really protected doctors here. I could not even move
Hmm.
move further. Yeah. So
Wow.
anyway, so the actions you took, you went to the hospital in
Mhm.
January, and then
Yes, I went to the hospital. I got a breast ultrasound. After that, they discovered something weird about it, so they had to send me for a biopsy in to a breast surgeon for a
Mhm,
biopsy, and that's where we discovered that it was actually cancerous. The tumor was cancerous.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Would you take us through the process? Did this happen in Narok, or
No,
you
I had
you
to
had to move?
go. I had to go to Nairobi to get checked because Narok, the hospitals there, I cannot really say much about it, and I cannot talk anything negative about them here.
Yeah.
But they did not suit my liking, of
Yeah.
services that I was seeking. I could not get the best services there, so I had to come to Nairobi and get checked there.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So after your check, did you proceed in Nairobi?
Yeah, I proceeded with my breast surgeon, the one that discovered, and then I had to go to an oncologist. That wasn't a good experience also because I had to change. I've changed oncologists 3 times now.
Why?
What can I say? The doctors were not just paying attention to my needs. Yeah, you find someone, you have a need and you ask your oncologist, you text them or call them, but they're not there to respond at that time. And as a patient, I feel like what you need is immediate response to just ease the pressure that you're feeling at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so after my breast surgeon, we had to do a CT scan. which gave us more information about what I was experiencing and the cancer. After that, I had to choose a place to get my chemo from. Of course, I chose that, and I've gone through all my cycles, the one that were recommended by the oncologist, and I'm done with that right now. So that's just how far I've gone with the treatment. I've finished my chemo, so I'm planning for my surgery. But my experience with the oncologists were not so good. The first two oncologists, it wasn't good at all because of that care and that attention that I needed from them. It wasn't just there. So
Yeah,
that's why I had to keep on switching to find someone who would pay much attention to me at this
yeah,
particular time.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you see, as you're switching, time is also passing.
Yeah, time is passing, but I
Mhm.
did not discontinue my treatment.
Good, good. So
Yes, I was just
when you're doing this, the other one goes and picks it up from where you reached, right?
yeah, you carry along your reports. You don't do
Okay,
anything from scratch. You just
okay,
carry along your reports. Yes, and you
okay.
fill in that new doctor of what you're experiencing, how far you've come.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Good, good. Um, so what's I know you've talked a bit about it, but what's your perspective regarding the whole process from the beginning to where you've reached? Um, what's your I know the doctors, some of them have disappointed you, and then Narok,
Mhm.
you do not want to seek the treatment in Narok. What's your perspective about the process and in relation to cancer treatment in Kenya?
Well, in relation to cancer treatment in Kenya, I think they're really good. There are really good hospitals and good doctors out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not even about the hospitals that we have in Kenya. It's about the doctors, the kind of services they offer. At the end of the day, it melts down to how careful your doctor is, how much he pays attention to you as a patient. Because what I experienced in those two other doctors is not what someone else experienced. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they have a different story to tell about that doctor. So it's just the relationship of patient to doctor patient relationship. It
Yeah.
melts down to that. The way you'll experience a certain doctor is not the way I'll experience them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
cancer treatment in Kenya, okay, I feel like it has really advanced and they are really trying. But I think um, the only challenge that I feel we have a niche is on the how expensive it is.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
most people opt for public services
Mm-hmm.
because it's affordable. You find NHIF covers most, if not everything, for cancer treatment, but most of the time it's not the best care because public doctors, public
Okay.
hospitals in Kenya, kuna tu hako ka the ignorance that is related with public hospitals in Kenya and
Mm-hmm.
the services. And at times it's not even ignorance, it's the availability of medicines,
Yeah.
the scarcity of doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the private sectors, treatment is really good, but it's
Expensive.
really expensive. It's very
Mm-hmm.
expensive for so many people. And cancer does not choose.
Yeah.
It attacks everyone and anyone, not everyone, anyone,
Mm.
despite of your social standards or
Yeah.
your class. It
Yeah.
affects anyone. It
Yeah.
does not choose, really. Yes.
Yeah.
So I
And
feel like it's so expensive to
yeah.
get the best care out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I remember just these past 2 weeks, when my mom had gone for her checkup,
Mhm,
heart and everything. I told my
mhm.
siblings, take mom to mammogram. Her age, just take her to mammogram. They say, why should we take
Mhm.
mom to mammogram? I say, just take her. Mammogram should be done regularly. And they took my mom to
Yeah.
mammogram in Eldoret, and
Mhm.
the report came that she had two lumps. So quickly we rushed her to Nairobi, and we organized for second opinions and biopsies to be done. And
Mhm.
we had to go to almost two places. And we ended up at Aga Khan, which did
Mhm.
not see any lump. So there was no biopsy that was done. They tried to do biopsy, but they could not see anything. So do you think
Oh.
there's also a lot of misdiagnosis?
Yeah, that there is. There truly is. I've had stories of people being diagnosed with, or they find these lumps, and when they go to different hospitals and where they have better equipments, they
Mhm.
cannot find the lump. They
Mhm.
simply cannot just find anything. Or they do biopsies on you. I have had a friend who they did a biopsy on her. They did not even do the biopsy at the first place. What they did, they took a sample. They did not send the sample to the labs. Again, that's an ignorance thingy. They did not send the report, the samples, and when she went back in like a month later, they were like, "Oh, we lost your sample." They had to do another
At
biopsy
that
to take
time, it's
another
growing
sample.
and it's
Yeah,
growing.
it's growing. It grew, and she actually had two surgeries before she even started her treatment. And they did not even do the biopsy with the gun. They did they like cut her and extracted the sample.
Oh, the excisional. They have the incisional and excisional. So they did the excisional one.
Yes. So you see that ignorance. I feel that ignorance on the doctor's part sometimes, or
Yeah.
you just do the regular checkups and then you feel something and you're quick to diagnose someone with something that you're not even sure of.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I just finished my treatment and my mom was my caregiver, went back to Kenya. One of our family friends was misdiagnosed with, I think, was it lung cancer or something else? And he called my mom crying, and this is also ignorance on the part of the patient, the person who thinks they're sick. And then Kenyans and
Mhm,
people, the whole world, when they hear cancer, they just think of death. They don't give you time to live or to thrive, or some people call it to survive. This person is
mhm,
calling a woman whose daughter just finished cancer treatment and is crying and say, "Oh, I also have this thing, I'm going to die. I have this thing, I'm going to die." So what is he trying to tell my mom? He's trying to tell my
mhm.
mom, "Your daughter is
It's
dying
also
and I'm
going
also
to
dying."
die.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
And then it ended up that he was
Mhm,
misdiagnosed. He did not have cancer. So
mhm.
it's weird in Kenya. But anyway, just moving on. What are your lessons from the time of maybe self-check? Point things to pay attention to. What are your lessons to people watching right now?
My first lesson is never ever self-diagnose yourself or self-medicate yourself. Most of
Mhm.
the time as human beings, and we find this, we don't pay attention to healthcare as Africans, especially as Kenyans, Kwanza. We like off the counter medicine a lot. And whenever we find symptoms of anything, we are quick to go to the chemist and just pick drugs. You come and self medicate at home and you treat yourself, you become a doctor, your own doctor there. So I've learned to not self medicate myself or self diagnose myself of anything, even a simple cold.
Yeah,
Go to the doctor, go get checked by a professional.
yeah,
Okay, a good professional, not just any professional. The chemist people are supposed to give you prescription based on what your doctors have prescribed.
exactly.
Don't go to them and ask them for to treat you. No, we do that a lot as Kenyans, and I think we should change this culture. Again, my second lesson is that cancer attacks anyone and everybody.
Yeah,
I had a perception before I was diagnosed. I had a perception that cancer, well, this was also ignorance on my part, but I had this perception that cancer is for old people. Yeah, old people, especially breast cancer. I never thought it can attack any young person. I never came across any young person, so it was really ignorant of me to assume that it only attacks old people.
yeah,
And I feel like a lot of people roll with that notion that you're young, you cannot have cancer, especially breast cancer. So based on that lesson that I've learned, I really advise people to not do not have these notions that, cancer is for certain group of people or cannot be, that is not my portion, as we like to
Yes.
say as Kenyans, that is not my portion.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
We rebuke all the devils that are there and say,
yeah,
no,
yeah, you
as if it is
rebuke.
the portion of those other people,
Yeah, whose portion is it? Like, whose portion is it? Yes, it's not yours. Whose is it? It
Yes,
can be, it's not today, it can be you tomorrow. So let's
yes,
just take caution. Let's
yes.
just take caution and stop having this notion that, these diseases are for certain people. It cannot be me. It can be you. It can really be you.
Yeah.
So just take better care of yourself. Eat well. And they say that is not my portion, and then they sit down and eat very unhealthy foods.
Oh man, when you talk of unhealthy foods, I am never embarrassed to say who I was before. And I say it
Uh-huh.
just for people to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you a story about myself. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
military spouse. My husband is
Mm-hmm.
in the US Army, and he's gone majority of time. At least the other times he
Mm-hmm.
could go for a week and come back, or a weekend and come back. But right now he's gone. He will go for like 2 years. He'll visit 2 days and go. But
Mm-hmm.
around that time, I had, I think, one child or something, one or two. And I was so stressed up, when he's gone for a week and I have to balance and everything. So I started eating to relieve stress. There are people who do that, they
Mm-hmm.
binge eat. So if you're
Yeah.
stressed, you eat. If you're stressed, you eat. And I started doing it last week also. And I noticed my belly is growing already because I never eat like that. So he's gone on his transfer. And now I start
Mm-hmm.
taking the snacks for children. I go and I'm picking snacks and I cook the chapatis and I tear them and I eat them. And already I am seeing changes in my own body. And this is how evident it is. I am someone who used to have acne. I had rough face, bad face. Hudson, I can see Hudson here, my brother from Kenya. He knows that. Wheat, eating lots of wheat. And then I had chocolate and sweets in the drawers next to my bed. When I wake up in the night to go to the restroom and come back, I take one Skittles, the small ones. I take one or two,
Mm-hmm.
boop, in my mouth, go under my blanket again. Because those things used to console me when I'm alone, you know. But then my weight started coming, big and big, big and big. And my mom used to see me on phone. My sister say, "Hey, stop eating the way you are eating. This is going to harm you." My mama say that, my sister said it. And I say, how is it going to harm me?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you feel like you're invincible, nothing can happen to you, right? And then
Yeah.
indeed,
Yeah.
I go in to see a doctor who lived in Kenya. And this doctor tells me, I lived in Kenya for 20 years. Kenyans eat a lot of nyama choma, you eat a lot of chapati. Stop eating chapati. Chapati is not for Africans, it's for Indians. The wheat is not for your body, it's not for your genes. And I'm like, how can you talk of chapati and
How?
genes for a Kenyan? How? Please, how can you
Mm-hmm.
tell me that? And do you know when
Mm-hmm.
that happened? She told me that in August 2019. She told me, as a Kenyan, wheat is not for you. And she's my hematologist because I have sickle cell trait. I'm a sickle cell carrier. My dad was. And she told
Mm-hmm.
me that. Do you know what I did that evening?
You eat
I
chapati.
cooked chapati and I ate three.
Uh-huh.
I cooked chapati and I
Just
ate
to
three.
prove for her, it's for
Yes.
Kenyans too.
Yes. And I was telling my husband, how can she tell a Kenyan not to eat chapati? Is that lady crazy? How can this lady tell me that? And let me tell you the
Mm-hmm.
counting. She told me in August. We considered our last born in September. We did not know. And then
Mm-hmm.
when the baby was born in May, I found the lump in May.
Wow.
So immediately after she told me, I refused, I
Mm-hmm.
continued. Then the baby came, then cancer came. And when she saw me in August of 2019, there was no cancer in me. So
Yeah.
that is how fast things can flip. And there is
Yeah.
no cancer in our history. There is no cancer in my family. when you talk of history, you cannot. And I remember when they were asking me if there's anyone who had died of cancer in my side of the family, and I said, oh yeah, my grandfather. Then they asked me, how old was your grandfather? And I said 97. They said that one does not count as history. That one. So if you have a loved one who died of at 97, whatever, and they had cancer, that is not history, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody has a cancer cell. Everyone in the universe has a cancer cell, but your lifestyle is the one that instigates or causes it to start. What can we have for
Yeah.
breakfast? I'm coming to you, Kosgei. Um, so, so that was a very funny thing. And then my grandmother died last year of throat cancer, my dad's mom. And I ran into the hospital and said, now we have history. Now we have history. So they asked me, what? Because they did for me a genetic test. They did a genetic test because I have daughters to see if this is
Mm-hmm.
genetic so that we see what preventative things we can do to the girls. You know, some of the things you can do is like Angelina Jolie did, they can take out their breasts and reconstruct, you know, to prevent
Mm-hmm.
breast cancer. But when they did, they said
Yeah.
it's not genetic. So when my grandmother died, I said, you told me it is not genetic, but grandmother has died of throat cancer. So they asked me, okay,
Mm-hmm.
was your grandmother a smoker? You know, it had not registered in my mind. Then I remembered my
Mm-hmm.
grandma used to have those human-made, man-made cigarette. Yeah. She goes and
Mm-hmm.
she fixes it and puts it here. She pops it from the time I was born. Then I say, oh yeah, she was. Then they said, yes, it is not
That's not
genetic.
history.
Her throat cancer is because of smoking. You know, and so
Mm-hmm.
like you're saying, I used to say, this thing cannot catch me. It cannot catch me, but it caught up
Mm-hmm.
with me. So that lesson you've
Yeah.
told our viewers this afternoon, please, guys, please, the cancers that are genetic are about 2%, 2 to 3%, 2 to 3. The rest of them are environmental. But you cannot prevent it so much. Some people have lived very, you know, they wear masks, they do everything, but still they get cancer. They eat well, they even just drink water and eat fruit only, but they still get cancer. You know, but if you're
Yeah.
able to lead a healthy lifestyle, do your exercise, eat healthy, because we are what we eat. It is actually
Mm-hmm.
mostly food. You know, all this wheat that we eat, all these oils, all these sugars, they end up causing cancer. So I don't know if you interrupted, but do you see Kosgei Linda has a question? What can we eat for breakfast? Do you have any advice for her?
For breakfast, I think we have to make a meal plan for these because I get this a lot. I get this a lot, and it's a cancer patient's menu is really broad. Not even just
Yeah,
a cancer patient's menu,
yeah,
just a healthy menu
mhm,
is really broad. There are a lot of healthy options that you can do out there.
yeah, yeah,
Very many.
yeah,
Yeah, pancakes are a good is a good option, but you can
mm,
substitute the ungangano pancake with something like
yeah,
oat pancakes. Yeah, and you can also do mandoma and sweet potatoes, such things.
yeah, yeah,
They're really okay. Some people don't find it as tasty as others, but and eating healthy
yeah,
is never ever interesting or
yeah.
tasty in any way. But at the end of it all, the long lasting
Effect.
what the long lasting benefits that they give to your body is worth it at the end of the day. If you can go through my profile, you can see I was a cake and pizza person. That
Yeah,
I did that for business some time back.
yeah,
And being in that industry, you cannot avoid eating these things.
yeah,
And I think that spiraled even the process of cancer growing in my body
yeah,
at that time. So I can tell you for free, we like these things. They're very delicious, they're very sweet, but they're never a good health option.
yeah.
They're never a healthy option for you. So, cause gay Linda, the menu is it's really broad, really
Yeah,
broad.
it's quite broad, and she's right. And King Palushkan has told her, I guess she's in the US. I'm also in the US, and I get those things. I get nduma, I
Mm-hmm.
get very good sweet potato,
Mm-hmm.
the nice powdery one. We get it from from ours we get from the Indian stores. Yeah, but King Palushka
Mm-hmm.
said you can check Chinese, Vietnamese store. And if you're not able to, you can always, you know, find out from someone who is in those other states where they can access and they can send it to you. Um,
Yeah.
Shirley has talked about, hot flour instead of the whatever, and
Yeah.
whole grain flour. What I've done
Mhm.
personally, my kids will still eat wheat. They refuse to eat brown. But the thing for me, I make my chapatis sometimes using lentils. I use
Mhm.
beans to make my chapati. These are very special flours that I get from online, and those chapatis are very good. Hey, ladies, sorry, what are we learning? We are almost done, but you can always catch us at this time, 1 p.m. On Thursday, we have another young lady from Ghana who is coming to talk to a very special lady also, stage 4, Hodgkins. Hodgkins, so she'll be here, and I know that we'll have Shirley a lot of times. She'll be coming a lot of times because, there's quite a lot to share. So Shirley, anytime
Yeah.
you're free, let me know. We come on and we chat. This is the pink table. Thursday we have the
Mhm.
purple table. So Thursday is all
Mhm.
other types of cancers. But
Yeah.
on Tuesday at this time, we'll be having specifically breast cancer because breast cancer
Yeah.
is so wide. So Julie Watom, we are done here. We try so much to keep time. We wanted to take 40 minutes. We are 1:43, and I know it's 9:43 in Kenya, so we should be done in about 3-4 minutes. So if you catch us again next time, look at my page and follow Shirley. Also, you can always see her page in case we have a chat coming, and then come right on time, and you will catch us. But one thing I would like to emphasize, as Shirley has said, diet, diet, diet. Reduce on the weight. Do Try to have a healthy diet that you can sustain. Don't jump into these things that you cannot live past a month on. Right now here in the US, there's a craze about watermelon. People who are just living on watermelon. You eat watermelon breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And people are jumping on it. People are jumping on it, and I'm like, are you guys crazy? And a lady has just died in, is it Vietnam, who was only on I think also a fruit diet. She went and went and went and thin and thin and thin, and she passed away a few days ago. So always be careful these diets that you go in that you cannot sustain. Get into something
Mhm.
that you can make your lifestyle. And if you want any advice from any of us, follow us, reach out to us. We will share with you what we have been taught. I will share with you what I have been taught. But actually, one thing I have to tell you, if you're not a cancer patient, I will not share with you free. If you are a patient, I will share with you everything that I've been taught by very, very high
Free.
profile dietitians. I will give you even my own meal plan if you are a cancer patient. If you are a cancer, they call survivor, I call them thrivers. I will give you
Mhm.
discount. But if you are those people calling themselves healthy, you will pay full. You will pay full to get my meal plan. But anyway, yeah. Do you have any parting shot, Shirley?
Mm, my parting shot is prevention is better than cure. Even those people who do not have cancer, it's better to prevent yourself than to cure. Yeah. So eat healthy, do exercise, get regular checkups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. Thank you so much. My parting shot is, if you feel stressed, do exercise like she said. Do something that gives you fun. Because by the way, stress also causes cancer. Because
Yeah.
stress causes the body to produce certain hormones and toxins that are not good for you. If you cook a lot in your house, have some very good house plants. Not all plants are good. Find out which house plants are used to purify your air, because the toxins from your cooking can cause you cancer. So I have some trees in my house that I was told to plant. I will have a session to talk about those trees. I may do a video and put on YouTube so that you can watch. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much, Shirley, my pink sister. I hope you're going to have a lot of these to educate people, because we want them to prevent before it catches them, because we know how bad we've gone through
Yes.
this, right? All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. I'll be back here every day, this time, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time. It will be 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. East African Time. And we'll be talking about different topics. Even if I don't have a guest, I will be here. and we can chat. I may have people come up and ask questions and then drop them, but I promise you 1 p.m. day, except weekends. Weekends are days for my family. We will be here. So thank you so much.